Good day, everyone. This is we are group 4, and we are going to add to our report the tools used in evaluation in strategic plan. So let's start. Next slide po. So these are the following tools. We have objectives and key results. Second one is the theory of change or the TOC. Third one is the pestle analysis. Fourth is benchmarking. Fifth is survey. Sixth and is the balance scorecard. And lastly, the rating scale. So let's begin with objectives and key results. As its name implies, this model revolves around translating broader organizational goals into objectives and tracking their key results. The framework rests on identifying 3 to 5 attainable objectives and 3 to 5 results that should stem from each of them. Once you have those in place, you plan initiatives around those results. After you figure out those reference points, you determine the most appropriate metrics for measuring their success. And once you've carried out of the projects informed by those ideal results, you gauge their success by giving a score on scale from 0 to 1 or 0 to 100%. Next slide po. How does the OKR work? Famously, it is used for strategic planning by Google, Microsoft, and Intel. OKRs works by establishing a clearly defined goal or the objective, along with a handful of key results that is measurable checkpoints that build toward the target goal. So this is the example of OKR adjustments. So this is the objective, the pre-COVID-19 objective. So this is just an example. Double the size of the business. So that's their objectives, and their key results is to increase revenue by $150,000. Next is the hire 10 new employees, and the last is add 3 high-value clients. So since it is adjustment, so meron din pong post-COVID-19 objective, which is to increase business size to 150%. So ang key results naman nito ay to increase revenue by $100,000, hire 7 new employees, and add two new high-value clients. Ideally, teams should only have about 70% rate on key results. If teams are constantly hitting 100%, it likely means that the ultimate goal was not ambitious enough. So how can it be adapted for a post-COVID-19 market? One strength of OKR is that they are highly adjustable. For example, if your goal at the beginning of the year is to double the size of your business, and key results include increasing revenue by $150,000, hiring 10 new employees, and adding 3 new high-value clients, you can scale those numbers to account for the market changes. Let's say that increasing the size of your business by 150%, increasing revenue by $100,000, and hiring 7 new employees and adding 2 new high value clients. So what type of businesses should use this? OKRs, or objectives and key results, are good fit to establish profitable businesses that might need to make incremental adjustments to continue growing without showing off. a successful formula. Next reporter, please.
Theory of Changes, TOC. The theory of changes model revolves around the organization establishing long-term goals and essentially working backwards to accomplish them. When leveraging this strategy, you start by setting a large, big picture goal. So you need to identify the intermediate term adjustments and plans you need to make to achieve your desired outcome. And finally, you work down A level and plans the various short-term changes you need to make to realize the intermediate ones. More specifically, you need to take these strides. So next slides po. So this is the step of theory of change process adapt to steps in the theory of changes. So first, identify your long-term goals. So second is develop vision and identify and define desired changes. So third is identify your domains of change. For identify strategic priorities. Step 5 is develop pathway of changes. Step 6 is review to adopt TOC. So these planning models work best for organization interest in taking on endeavors like building a team, planning an initiative, or developing an action plan. It's distinct from other models in its ability to help you differentiate between desired and actual outcomes. So next.
Hello. So pestle analysis or pestle analysis. It is another strategic planning tool you can use. Eh, Um, so pestle analysis. So uh, pestle, ano siya? It is an acronym for a tool used to identify the macro external forces facing an organization. So when we say macro or macro environment, it refers to the set of conditions that exist in an economy as a whole. So this includes demographic, economic, political, ecological, sociocultural, and technological forces. So PESTEL, it stands for P, political. This determine the extent to which government and government policy may impact on an organization or specific industry. And this would include political policy and stability, as well as trade, fiscal, and taxation policies. So these factors are all about how and to what degree a government intervene in the economy or a certain industry. So basically, all the influences that the government has on your business could be classified here. And this can include government policy and yung sabi ko nga political stability or instability, corruption, foreign trade policy, tax policy or environmental law and trade restrictions. And furthermore, the government may have a profound impact on nation's education system, infrastructure, and even health regulations. So these are all factors that need to be taken into account when assessing the attractiveness of a potential market. Next is E stands for economic. When I say economic factors, it has a direct impact on the economy and its performance, which in turn uh, directly impacts on the organization and its profitability. Factors include interest rates, employment or unemployment rates, raw material cost, and foreign exchange rates. So, the The economic factors are determinants of a certain economy's performance, and these factors may have a direct or indirect long-term impact on an economy, since it affects the purchasing power of customers and could possibly change the demand supply models in the economy. And consequently, it also affects the way company price their products and services. Next is S, stands for social. Social factors. The focus here is the social environment and identifying emerging trends. This helps a marketer to further understand consumer needs and wants in social setting. And the dimension of the general environment represent the demographic characteristics, norms, customs, and values of the population within which the organization operates. And this may include population trends such as the population growth rate, age distribution, income distribution, um, career attitudes, safety emphasis, health consciousness, lifestyle attitudes, and also cultural barriers. And these factors are especially important for marketers when they are targeting certain customers. And in addition, it also says something about the local workforce and its willingness to work under certain conditions. Next is T for technological. Technological factors consider the rate of technological innovation and development that could affect a market or industry. Uh, there are often a tendency to focus on developments only in digital technology, but consideration must also be given to new methods of distribution, manufacturing, and logistics. The technological factors, it pertains to innovations in technology and that may affect the operations of the industry and the market. This refers to technology incentives and the level of innovation, automation, research and development, technological change, and the amount of technological awareness that a market possesses. And these factors may influence decisions to enter or not enter certain industries or to launch or not launch certain products. By knowing what is going on technologically wise, you may be able to prevent your company from spending a lot of money on developing a technology that would become obsolete very soon due to disruptive technological changes elsewhere. So next is the L for legal. Legal factors. Uh, an organization must understand what is legal and allowed within the territories they operate. So they also must be aware of any change in legislation and the impact this may have on business operations. So the factors include employment legislation, consumer law, health and safety, international as well as trade regulation and restriction. They have become important due to the increasing scarcity of raw materials, pollution targets, and carbon footprint targets set by the governments. And furthermore, growing awareness of the potential impacts of climate change is affecting how companies operate and the products they offer. This has led to many companies getting more and more involved in practice such as corporate social responsibility and sustainability. That's it.
Benchmarking is defined as the process of measuring products, services, and processes against those of organizations known to be leaders in one or more aspects of their operations. So, to benchmark is to compare performance against a standard, and as part of an effort to improve the effectiveness of monitoring and evaluation, or M&E, in the policy cycle, benchmarking can be useful in three ways. First, benchmarking can help place an outcome in the next context. Was the achievement good, bad, or indifferent? Second, benchmarking, benchmarking can help assess the reasonableness of targets that may be set. Third, Benchmarking can help identify specific regions or subgroups that have exceptionally good or poor results, hinting at what factors drive performance. It can be hard to extract information about potential determinants. Therefore, the process of analyzing performance at the extremes can make it easier to extract information and to introduce more feedback into the policy cycle. Next reporter po.
The balanced scorecard. A balanced scorecard is a performance metric used to identify, improve, and control a business' various functions and resulting outcomes. This is one of the most prominent strategic planning models tailored to give managers a comprehensive overview of their company's operation on tight time list. It considers both financial and operational metrics to provide valuable context about how a business has performed previously currently performing and is likely to perform in the future. This is combined financial measures that tells the result of action already taken with operational measures on customer satisfaction, internal processes, and the corporation innovation and improvement activities, the drivers of future financial performance. Next slide. The model plays on four concerns. In the balanced scorecard, management develops goal or objectives in each of four areas. The financial, which has a question of how we appear to shareholders. This would be a lot of financial ratios, total assets and turnover, like we discussed last time. Next is the customer, how they view us. This could come from customer surveys and how customers feeling about the brand, about the product, or about their experience. For the third one, the internal business perspective. What does the company excel at internally? What are their best business practices? And for the last one, the innovation and learning. This can be a measure of how productive has research development been in developing enhancement to the business, to the products, and learning can be looked at what type of training have the employee has gone through. Next slide po. Yeah. So the four areas and the last side help you to develop more meaningful targeted goals as well as the most suitable metrics for tracking them. The benefits of this BSCs or the balanced scorecard allow companies to pull information in a single report to provide information into service and quality in addition to financial performance and to help improve efficiencies. This allows management to save time, money, and resources when they need to execute reviews to improve procedures and operations. Next slide. However, while exploiting the model, there is a generally applicable strategy you can employ, establishing a real scorecard. It is a record that maintains track or of your objectives and how you can achieve them. Here is an example of the illustration. You can see that they have the vision, purpose, strategic priorities, and the strategic results. Next slide. Here's another example of the balanced scorecard, and that could be helpful for companies that want to break down higher levels goals into more precise, quantifiable targets. Consider looking into if you want to return your big picture goals into concrete initiatives. This is like a survey used for collecting data from a predefined group of respondents to gain information and insight into various topics of interest. They can have multiple purposes and can conduct it in many ways depending on the methodology chosen and the study scope. Next slide po. So the balanced scorecard is ideal for businesses looking to break up the higher goals nga po. One of our example last time is yung sa mga bangko na maaari tayong makipag-communicate sa mga customer. Magsasagawa ng mga survey upang masukat kung gaano sila kahusay sa kanilang mga service na binibigay sa mga customer. Kasama sa mga survey na ito yung mga pag-rate ng mga kanilang pagbisita dun sa bangko or sa kung anumang business na nagbibigay sila ng questionnaire habang nag-iintay on sa kanilang mga um, ginagawa. Sa survey na ito, maaari nilang makapag-request yung mga employees sa customer nila na gumawa ng mungkahi sa kanilang mga improvement or para mapabuti pa yung service na kanilang kailangan. Maaaring gamitin ng mga tagapamahala ng bangko ang mga impormasyon na makukuha nila na makatulong na muling sanayin ng mga employees kung may mga problema sa mga service na binibigay nila or kung may mga issue na dapat nilang maagapan agad. Yun lang po. Next slide and next reporter po.
Rating scale. The rating scale is a popular choice for conducting market research. It can serve the purpose of gathering more relative information about a product or certain aspect of the products. The scale is commonly used to gain feedback or to evaluate. A rating scale can be used to gain insight on the performance of a product, employee satisfaction, or skill, customer service performance, etc. A rating scale is one of the most commonly used questionnaire types for online as well as offline surveys. It consists of close ended questions along with a sets of categories as options for respondents. A rating scales help gain information on the qualitative and quantitative attributes. And the most common example of rating scale is the Likert scale. And 1 to 10 rating scale, for instance, when you visit an online shopping site and it asks you to rate your shopping experience, such type of question and choice of option is called rating scale. Those are the tools in evaluation that our group find online. We having hard time to pinpoint which tool used in evaluation due to various information. So the following tools that been discussed are some of what we think and based on our understanding are one of the tools. That's all and thank you for listening po. This is Group 4. Thank you.